Aida for not giving my sister a +1 to my wedding. Hi Reddit, I to 5F am a winter 2020 for bride and am marrying the absolute love of my life. My sister and I have always had a great, interesting relationship. Most sisters would know. One day you start fighting because she wore your clothes, and the next day you're having Dunkin' together, typically sisterly things. Well, my sister has always been, to put it frankly, a pick-me girl. She has no friends that are women because, and she says she sees them as competition, and she likes to be friends with boys. She will only date rich men, and refuses to settle for less. A little bit to that later. My sister has not had a relationship last longer than 2 months, and she always has a new guy on her shoulder. My mother and fiance were recently talking about this before I sent out my invitations. I have mentioned, since our venue was on smaller side, we didn't want strangers in our wedding, nor did we want them in our wedding photos. My mom had made a comment about how anyone my sister would bring would be a fling, since she currently was not in a relationship. When we went home that night, I brought it up to my fiance, we'll call him Bertram. I told Bertram that I really did not want a complete stranger in my wedding pictures, and certainly not someone my sister would only have been dating a few weeks, maybe a month. Well, just this past week Bertram and I sent out our wedding invitations, and they read, "We have reserved seat S in your name." So for example, for my fiance's family, his reads, "We have reserved for seat S in your name." When my sister received her invitation, hers read, "We have reserved 1 seat S in your name." And boy was she upset. She called me and told me that it was not fair that she could not bring a +1. I mentioned to her that she didn't have the best track record with men, and that Bertram and I really didn't want some random person nobody would talk about in our wedding pictures. She said that I was selfish, and that since her wedding was towards the end of December the 29th, she had 6 months to find a boyfriend, and that it would be a serious relationship. Now here I might have gotten mean, but I told her I would seriously doubt if she found anyone, given her track record for the absolutely worst men alive. As I mentioned before, rich men, who think buying gifts will excuse cheating and lying. She got upset, hung up, and said she will be attending my wedding with a boyfriend of her +months because she will find one. Aida for not giving her a +1, and would I be an asshole for considering to uninvite her altogether?